The Sports Source is brought to you by Fast Frame, with exciting Vol sports prints now available.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television. This is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into the Sports Source. Happy to have you join us today. We have a packed show. Tennessee blows another double-digit lead yesterday. What does that do to the tournament speculation? Probably kicks the NIT tournament resume up a bit because the NCAA resume going down. We'll tell you all the latest numbers, though. We'll also take a look at Tennessee's two deep, their depth chart going into spring. How does it look in terms of talent, star rankings, and how does it compare to would-be favorite in the East, Georgia? We'll tell you that. We'll also talk a little Butch Jones, a lot of the staff. Is this the best staff he's put together at Tennessee? Lots to come. Let's get right into it. First segment of our show brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. They have 3 hospitals right here in Knoxville, North, Downtown, and West, plus hospitals in Jefferson City, La Follette, Newport, Morristown, Jamestown, and Cleveland, not to mention even more clinics and doctors' offices throughout the area. Tennova, ready to help you wherever you are across East Tennessee. I want to welcome in these guys. We got Mark Pancratz, former Vol assistant coach over there, to talk some basketball with us today right off the bat. Mike Strange. Good morning. Mike Griffith, Chuck Cavaleris. For the 5th time this season, the Vols have blown a double-digit lead. J.J. Frazier, who's killed the Vols 2 games in a row now, went nuts yesterday. Tennessee blows a 14-point lead to lose 76-75 to Georgia. We're all about placing blame here, so I'm going to give you the fun task. Where does the blame go after this one yesterday?
Well, I think it starts with the defensive end. What happens is we get these leads, and you could talk about not having a go-to guy with Robert Hubbs, maybe not being in the guard position, go get an easy basket or get to the free throw line. But the defensive end of being able to guard ball screens, teams get on their heels a little bit, and so they start getting to attack mode, and we can't defend a ball handler. Mayton getting in foul trouble yesterday, their big guy, was actually a disadvantage to Tennessee because that put the ball in J.J. Frazier's hands even more. And we just struggled to guard ball screens and struggled to guard perimeter guys that can get to the lane.
At any point do you look at this and say, well, you know, Rick Barnes, he's taking some criticism for not calling timeouts soon enough. Opposing teams get some runs going because he's not taking timeouts. You've got, well, just general. How much of this do you place on coaching? Any at all?
You can always, if you want to find blame, and you can always put on coaches because every decision there's the opposite decision
right.
of what could. There's a 20-20 shot of it. But if anybody wants to put blame on Barnes this year, I think they're completely off basis. To see how this team is performing, where they're at, the development of each of their players, I don't put it on Coach Barnes at all.
Okay, then let's take this. We know his stance. This team, as I said, has blown 5 double-digit leads this year. All right. You hold those leads, instead of 14-11, you're 19-6 right now. We're not talking about tournament resume maybe getting in. You're in if you don't blow double-digit leads. This team was picked for 13th in the SEC, however. They're now tied for 5th in the league. So, is this team overperforming or underperforming? You had the leads, and part of this goes back to, we saw this 2 years ago in football. Tennessee wasn't picked to win the East, and yet they get the lead on Florida and Oklahoma. They lose it. All of a sudden, you should have won the East. You had the talent to do it. See, you had a lead. So I'm just going to apply the same idea to basketball. See what you guys think. Are they overperforming or underperforming?
This particular week, home games, Ole Miss goes down to the wire, they win one. Georgia, home game, goes down to the wire, they lose it. 2 kind of those middle SEC teams, just like there. This week, I think they neither under nor overperform. This is about what I thought.
Okay.
Just
Overall
this week.
on the season, though, what do you say for the season?
Oh, I still think they've overperformed. They have expectations. Fans have expectations now. The fact that there are expectations about this team, that's overperforming.
Okay. Mike and Chuck, do you agree with that?
I agree with Mike. I think they've overperformed. I mean, There's a reason that they were picked to finish 13th.
Exactly.
And there's a reason why J.J. Frazier is a senior and is taking these freshmen to town. This is why Tennessee wasn't picked to finish high, because they are so young. And you take away Dietrich Mostella and Fulkerson, and that margin for error went right out the window. You want to know how Tennessee would have won the game? Stop Mostella from getting in trouble with drugs and have him still on the team, because that's your answer. That's your go-to guy. When this situation happens, that's the guy that comes in with the instant offense. He's gone. So it's a young team that's overperformed all year, Chuck, and they've built expectations where we're going, oh my gosh, they didn't win. And then you go, wait a minute, Georgia was picked to finish 4th in the league.
Well, I think you win this game by not letting J.J. Frazier get the ball, because he either scored or had an assist on just about every possession. John, I think they have overperformed, but basketball is a game of players have to make plays. You got to hit your free throws. You got to limit the other team to one shot. You got to rebound.
Yeah, rebounding.
In these games, that's been what's really been getting Tennessee. You just got to perform down the stretch. J.J. Frazier told his teammates before the game, I'm tired of the fact we've lost 3 straight road games. We're not going to lose this game. And he went out and backed it up.
Offense is not the issue. We can talk about free throws. We can talk about Mostella not being there to make shots. Defensively is Jordan Bone, Turner, Shambari Fields, Robert Hubbs, guard and perimeter guys. We can't keep a guy in front of us. And then we've got young, inexperienced big guys who their entire life have been said, hey, go post up and go be by the basket. Now they got to come in SEC play and get out and hedge ball screens. And they're not. The guy went around Lou Evans 5 times. They're splitting ball screens. It's the fact that we're just not defending down the stretch when the other team starts going full blast at the rim, and we can't stop them.
I agree they've overperformed so far. But I do think there is an interesting double standard between football and basketball in this town.
That's why basketball coaches love football schools.
That's right. Different standard. Well, and let's build off that. You go online after one of these games, you talk to somebody. I hear people that tell me, this is a fun team to watch. I know they're not winning, but it's a fun team to watch, which, again, that's a testament to Tennessee basketball fans. Like last year, you were under 500, and yet you turned up top 10, top 15 in attendance nationally. Tremendous basketball fans here in terms of following their team, win or lose. However, this is year 2. People are a little surprised that they're doing as well as they are. So as long as this team's fun to watch, they work hard. Yeah, it sucks that they lost, but it's great to care again. If you're sitting here in this same situation next year, do you think people will still be saying that, or do you think people will be?
No, and they shouldn't, because it's about expectations. I mean, we hit them. Griff hit it on it before. We're picked 13th,
yep.
And so they're overperforming. Now next year, you fast forward with the guys that they got coming back. Grant Williams scoring 30 points. They're going to be picked in the upper half of the league.
You think so next
year?
year?
Yeah, absolutely, because the foundation is being set, and so then the expectation is changed. And if you don't, and you start losing some of these games, because now youth, you can't hang your head on that, you know. So now's okay, but you got to keep seeing progress.
Can I add one more thing?
Certainly.
How about calling goaltending when it happens with about 7 seconds to go when the ball's touched on the rim?
Mark, you nailed it yesterday on Twitter. Respond to that, please.
Well, it just shouldn't come down to that.
Well, I
know
agree.
it does, and it's part of the game. But at the end of the day, when you're having double-digit leads and you've got what it shouldn't come down to that.
Well, that's still an obvious call. It wasn't made.
Crying about the refs.
They're terrible. They're terrible.
Tennessee got some calls going in. Georgia's big guy had 4 fouls with 16 minutes left in the game, with Tennessee up 12.
But you also had some that went the other way too. Mayton, when he went out, that last foul on him was not a foul on him. So
that's my point.
You've had some of those.
It's gone. I don't think officiating. I don't think Tennessee fans.
I'm sorry. I wasn't listening to you. I messed up. Just kidding. Chuck, Mike, Mark. We'll be back a little bit later. Bob Hodge joins us next. We're going to talk a little football. Come on back on the Sports Source.